Hi guys, welcome to our channel.
What's up, family? Welcome to our channel. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Remy, and you're tuned into A Life Worth Loving. This is our third episode, and we are so excited. We just really do thank you guys, and I know we said this in the last episode and the one before that, but every single episode, we're still going to thank you guys because you don't have to be here. So thank you for being with us once again.
Absolutely. And to our new viewers, we welcome you too.
Hi. So today, you ready, babe? We got this?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. I forgot my ring.
Uh-oh.
So, I'm sorry. I'm married still.
She's single, y'all.
Every time I don't wear my ring, he thinks I'm acting single.
All right. We're going to give an update on our past week.
It's been a week, y'all.
And we had a very interesting week. So we want to bring y'all in and, just show the goodness of what he's done once again.
Yeah. So in our last episode, we talked to you guys about the miracles surrounding the growth of my cervix. And we thought we were in the health clear after that. We're like, oh, we did it. We're out the clear. We're still not going to travel and do anything crazy, but at least we don't have to worry about, we thought that we didn't have to worry about preterm labor in that moment. Mm-hmm. And one thing that this pregnancy has taught us, if nothing else, is that as soon as you're done with one miracle, it's time to ask for the next miracle. Mm-hmm. And we're living through that right now.
Yeah, we're in constant need.
Need of our source.
When he delivers, it's like, okay,
we need you again.
Don't leave.
We need you again.
We need guidance on the next steps. We need you to get us through this next chapter.
Yeah, so basically, when we filmed last week, that was on, Saturday.
Yeah,
and
Saturday.
We released it on Monday, and then we went to the beach after that, and we had a good time. I was in a lot of pain, but I thought it was just pregnancy pain because I've not been pregnant before, so it's like I don't know what's pregnancy pain and what's like you need to go get evaluated pain. So we went to the beach, went swimming, thinking that I can just have some water pressure to help with the complications that I was feeling, and came back home that night. I got worse. The next morning, it was even worse. I'm like, okay, babe, something is not right. We need to go to we need to call our doctors. Mm-hmm. So, called our doctors. Doctor said, head to emergency, go to triage, labor and delivery, and let them know what's going on. So, we went to labor and delivery, and first of all, it was the best hospital experience we've ever had because they took us right away. There was no wait. And I told them about the stomach pain that I was feeling, which was lower abdominal pain. And it felt like someone was inside of my belly pulling my umbilical cord and just doing weird things to my stomach, but it was right there. And the day before that, while we were at the beach, there was a very visible cluster of muscle pointing out of my stomach, as if there was a second baby closer, down in the right side of my stomach. I'm like, this isn't right.
It's like a small bulge.
It was a small bulge, the size of a tennis ball.
Yeah, I would say a tennis ball.
Wait, what's smaller than that?
Golf a little ball. Smaller than, yeah.
Like a golf ball.
There you go.
And I'm like, this isn't right, but we're at the beach. Life is great. So we went to the hospital that next day, and they monitored me right away and realized that the cramps that I was feeling was contractions. Remind you guys, I'm 25 weeks pregnant. So to have contractions at 25 weeks should not happen. So they put me on the monitor, and they realized that I'm having contractions, and that's the pain that I was feeling. And then they go and they just do an ultrasound to make sure that everything's okay. And we learned that there is a fibroid, a second one. We knew there was a first one, and that's what I was referring to when I said there was a golf ball poking out the side of my stomach. That was the first fibroid. It had just gotten so much bigger, and that one had degenerated during the time when I was in so much pain. So that one wasn't poking out anymore, but it was still there. There was a new one that had formed directly under my belly button, which was insane because it was massive. And not only was it a fibroid, it was a leaking fibroid because it was so big that it outgrew its blood supply, and it was leaking fluid. The leaking fluid is what ended up causing the contractions. So
because of inflammation.
Because of the inflammation. Mm-hmm. And The miracle in this is when the doctor went in and noticed that I was having contractions, he's like, we have to look at your cervix size. And if y'all remember from the last video, my cervix ended up growing to 2.8, and 3 is the normal size, so we're still under. Cervix ended up being 2.8, and when he looked at it, it was 2.77, it's like right under 2.8, which helped a lot, because if it was smaller, then my cervix wouldn't have been able to take the pressure from the contractions, and the baby would have likely come out.
Yeah, we would have been in preterm labor due to, you know, a shorter cervix than normal.
Right.
And that was quite devastating for us, just to
terrifying.
To hear that news.
To learn that we could have gone into labor at 25 weeks is just absolutely terrifying, and to also not realize that that's what was happening over the last few days, that I was having contractions. I just didn't know that that's what was happening.
Yeah.
So for this episode, we basically want to talk more to Brandon and figure out how he's been processing everything, because it's one thing to hear it from me, because it's me, I'm pregnant, so of course you're going to get my perspective, but I think that it's just a little bit fruitful to hear how Brandon's doing in all of this, and I also want to know how Brandon's doing in all of this. So I want to kind of do something different and do interview style.
Yeah, let's do it.
Where I asked Brandon, I wrote down some questions, where I asked Brandon some questions about how all of this has been for him. Because it's been terrifying for me, if I'm being honest. Like, it's been absolutely scary.
A lot.
So I just want to talk to you, babe, and check your temperature on how this has been for you, how you're feeling overall. And I have some fun questions. They're actually not fun, but
yeah. I'm excited. To go through this process. It could be like a little therapeutic session for me.
Therapy.
Yeah.
Mrs. Bobo, that's my therapy net, Dr. Bobo.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm suddenly British.
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't mind me. We were watching Game of Thrones.
This is not in Britain. Let's do it though.
Okay, so how has all this been for you, babe? Just like, it went from being excited that I was pregnant to going into complications and all of the prenatal appointments, and then all of the pre-screens and the possibilities of so many things going wrong that didn't, and then the possibility of it going wrong and it did. So just like, catch me up to speed on how you're doing mentally with all of this.
Mentally, overall, I feel good. I'll say that, because at the end of the day, things could be worse, right?
Yeah.
And I would say through the ups and downs of what we've gone through, it's been a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a roller coaster. However, I've always been like this, just from my upbringing. I'm a team player, and it's like, we're going to get through this no matter what. Like, you know what I'm saying? We in this together, down for whatever. Whatever happens, we got each other. When you don't have it and you need the energy, I'm going to step in and do what I got to do, right? So that's still, as a result of that, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, from just work, studying, cooking, just stepping up, and doing what I got to do.
Yeah.
It's of course it's my duty as a husband, but that doesn't mean that I can't get tired, right?
Right, absolutely.
And
that's true.
It's just one of them things where I just roll with the punches. That's just who I am. Life gives us lemons, and we make lemonade. I have a beautiful family. We're still in a beautiful situation. We have a wonderful home. We have a baby that's still,
he's still in there.
He's still kicking. So I feel good. I'm just hoping that I can be there for you. I'm just challenged every day to show up for you and the baby. So that's what I'm going through, and with that, I seek guidance. I seek community, and I guess we're gonna talk more about that, right? But
you don't know.
Maybe. Well.
Oh, sorry, my baby's hurting.
Oh, take it easy, little man.
All right.
Yeah, so I feel good. I just feel blessed through it all. So I try not to look at it as a burden, but
it gets hard.
Yeah, it gets hard.
Yeah. And one good thing I think that I can speak over you is that you never came into this marriage expecting me to do it all. Like, you never came into the marriage like you're the wife, so you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do laundry. it's shared duty. Like, we both show up 100%, and to know that you are not doing a whole entire like 180 to try to step up for me. You're just doing a little bit more because you've always done. You know what I mean? Like, you've always cooked, you've always cleaned, you've always grocery shopped. Or like, you don't say, I'm not doing this. So now that I'm just a little bit more unable, you're just doing more. So I just wanted to first honor you in that moment, to let you know that I see it. I appreciate everything you do. And I know you're busy, so I try to do as much as I can until you start fussing at me to sit down. But your efforts have not gone in vain, and I'm very appreciative that you have understood the assignment of dying to self in marriage. And I do want to get to that. That's a part of one of my questions, but it just came up for me here. That you understand that assignment, and you never make me feel like a burden for asking you to do things. So I really do appreciate you in that sense.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for seeing me.
I see you, man. I see my big honey.
I appreciate you.
And my next question for you is, don't look at my notes.
All right, my bad.
So when the doctor confirmed that the pain that I was experiencing was in fact contractions, how did you process that it was a fact that I could be in preterm labor, that at any moment we can give birth at 25 weeks? I feel like a real journalist.
Yeah, right.
How did you feel?
I was confused. I was scared because I still don't really truly understand contractions. You probably don't either. Well, you get them now because you get it now because
I understand
you've
what
gone
those
through it, but
things
we never been through that before.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I was underprepared, especially we're at week 25, so it's like, how we have 15 more weeks left.
Yeah.
You know, God willing, if we're going to 40 weeks, we have 15 weeks left, and I was terrified because the doctor has already spoken, you know, that we could be in preterm labor that day. You know,
that moment.
We woke up not thinking anything. We were just at the beach the day before, so you know, just hearing that news and you having contractions was terrifying for me, and things just got even more real for me because again, I wasn't prepared. We weren't prepared at all, and the baby was definitely not prepared, because if the baby was to come out, baby Malachi, we would have lost him.
We may have, the chances were very high that he would not have survived.
Right. So
because he doesn't have all of his.
Yeah. So he wasn't prepared to be here. So I began to pray immediately, and just pray that you stayed pregnant, and that baby stayed in there, and that this pain of contractions, these contractions slowed down, because it was tough. It was difficult watching you. It was difficult watching you go through all of that. So I just prayed that you had some you began to receive some comfort, and that those contractions slowed down.
Yeah.
That was very difficult.
And you had to make a very difficult decision too. You were supposed to fly out in 3 days after that?
Oh yeah, because my mom had surgery. I won't go too deep into it, but my mother had back surgery, and it was my time to go back home to just to look after her, and of course, you know, loving my mom and make sure that she was okay. Yeah. But it was we learned this. We're learning that, you know, as a married man, you have responsibilities, and there's an order to your responsibilities. And not only that, I think that Remy, my wife, having my child, my love has deepened, my thoughts have changed. So I had to make that decision that I wasn't comfortable leaving for so long. My home, leaving the family, and especially now with Remy just out the hospital and me having to leave for 2 days to be gone for 2 weeks, it was just really weighing on me. So I had to make that decision to to talk it out to my family, make other plans for my mom, and say like, hey, you know, maybe it's not the best decision for me to leave, or if I did leave, I wouldn't be able to stay longer.
Yeah, and I know that was hard for you because, of course, you wanted to be there and like make sure she was okay and do your duty as a son. And it's like, of course, you're married and you have a family, but where possible, you still wanted to be able to show up for her. So I know that was a difficult decision for you to make too.
Oh yeah, it was very difficult. But it's just a sense of peace that you have when you understand that you're doing things the right way, you're doing things with priority. And I'm a mama's boy, right? And I'm sure a lot of people have been in the same seat that I've been in and can relate. And even if you're not, eventually you'll be here where you have to make a decision to honor your family in an order that it's supposed to be. And that's what I had to do. And I'm proud with my decision because it all works out. It all works out at the end of the day. My mom is in great hands. Other family has stepped in a major way to help out, maybe even better than I would be able to show up. And with me being obedient with the decision making, I think that's the reason it worked out. It took for me to make a decision for other things to fall into place, like, good job, Brandon, you know. Now I can unlock some more support for you because you made that decision, and I can be here for you here. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know where we're at right now, but
we were getting into a difficult decision.
Yeah, difficult
and that
decisions.
was like spur of the moment because we thought I was fine.
Thought you were fine.
We thought that
and I was on my way out. I was on my way in that day in the hospital because before that, I decided to not do 2 weeks and do 1 week. And that was difficult. Yeah. You know, it was like, oh, what are we going to do now, right? But we were able to work it out. Well, we were trying to work it out. And then you went to the hospital.
Yeah, and then it's like,
can't
even do 1 week.
It's like cancel that.
My baby mama is having contractions.
Yeah, we got to cancel everything, and we need help. SOS, right? Yeah. And it worked out.
It worked out.
He showed up and showed out because my mom is in good hands. Remy is in my hands. In God's hands.
And my mama's hands.
And her mama's
she
hands.
came
Her
into
mama
town.
pulled up
to
show us some love and even give me a little break.
Yeah, take some pressure off of Brandon.
Yeah, because it has been a lot. It's been a lot. So
we have to do a separate episode on just like ordering, leaving, and cleaving because that's been something that we've had to walk through multiple times.
Order of leaving Cleveland, guys.
We'll do another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole that might be a season for real because we still learning. You know, we still learning, and we have wise counsel that we seek, and thank God for them. Yeah.
Ready for my next question, honey?
I don't know. I might have to get a box of tissues.
My next question for you is, what has been the hardest part of this pregnancy for you personally?
Wow, there were a few.
The hardest part? You mean what was easy is easier to answer?
Right, yeah. What was the easiest part was getting you pregnant.
Oh, buzz.
Well, I won't say that. It wasn't easy. The process, we might have to edit that out. We got COVID.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
We got COVID, yeah.
Oh, that was hard.
That was difficult.
Were sick.
I got sick first.
Yeah.
I had 2 days of COVID by myself. And then Remy got hit hard. You know, she was doing so well. She was killing the game. She was making me tea, making me food, ordering up, like not
baby mama
making food. Yeah, baby mama nurse.
Nurse wifey.
Nurse wife, mama, baby. But yeah, she showed up and showed out, and then COVID snatched her. It was like, I can't do nothing. And that was difficult because she's pregnant. And that was a part of the uncertainty that we were going through. Like, what about the baby? So we had no idea. And I would say that it was difficult because not only when Remy pregnant with COVID, I had COVID, so I had to drop everything. I had to put aside what I was going through and muster up some energy to take care of you and make sure that you're good.
There's a dying to self again. You see this
dying
is a recurring theme in marriage in general, is dying to yourself. But I felt so sad for you during that period of time because you weren't even well enough to look after you, let alone like you somehow came up with the strength and somehow came up with the energy to make sure that I was eating and to get me to the hospital and to do all of these things. And I know that was so difficult.
Yeah.
But you somehow found it.
Yeah, thank God for community, right? Because, you know, Zaina took you and I met y'all there in a separate car. So
I do have some excellent friends.
Yeah, shout out to our community, and that's, I think we're gonna talk. That's gonna be a constant theme. Talking about community.
Yeah, and even like my mom started a food train and sent it to all of our friends, and they gave us meals.
If
so
you're
that
watching,
we didn't have to
thank you.
Thank you again.
Wow,
that helped so much.
That was unbelievable how much we needed it.
So yeah, that was rough because you weren't even well, and you had to look after me.
Yeah.
And you did a great job.
Thanks, babe. Thanks.
My favorite part of COVID was that we both had it.
We did it together.
And I know that sounds so
All
ridiculous.
3 of us had it.
But y'all, I love this man so much that I get separation anxiety.
Yeah.
When he walks away.
Once she got COVID, it was like, all right, we just get back in the bed together.
And then we got in bed together. I was so lonely. I was bored. I'm like, where's my best friend? I want to play with him. So when we both had COVID, then we were able to sleep in the same bed together again. So that was the one good thing that came of it.
We did it together.
Yeah. So that's your answer. COVID was the hardest part.
COVID, and I would say watching you go through the challenges and I guess obstacles of pregnancy. You know, the pain of the fibroids, causing contractions. Growing pains, I would say. Yeah. It's just difficult, you know, the frustration of thinking you could just leave the house after you shower, but then you realize your clothes don't fit.
I can't fit anything.
Yeah, it's difficult to see those things because it's emotional. Yeah. And I would say just the challenges you go through is difficult watching and then not being able to do anything, and I guess praying is very heavy, but you know, I guess we always want our hands on things and be able to I always try to find a solution. So when I'm helpless in that moment, I just gotta, you know, love on you. Yeah. So I would say those are the most difficult parts.
Wow, that's a lot. And with all of those emotions that you're managing, how are you able to prioritize yourself? Because it seems like through the lens of all these questions, you end up routing it back to me. Yeah. So I really do appreciate you for being such an active husband and caring so much and dying to yourself multiple times a single day. But what do you do to make sure that you are being taken care of too?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions to manage, and I would say it's difficult because I think I've just learned how to manage my emotions. I like to express what I'm going through. Like these past maybe 2 years, I've always held things in and not really expressed how I felt and just been candid in those moments. So
and you've become very expressive lately, like since we probably started dating.
Yeah. I learned to really just be more aware of my time and the activities that I'm involved with, because there's sweet spots where I can prioritize myself, because then, you know, something's going on with the baby or something's going on with you, so I have to find time for myself. So I started getting up earlier, just to have time for myself, where it's like, okay, I'll go for a walk, I'll take Brooklyn, work out. I think shout out to my community of Kings, of my men's ministry. They're very helpful, and one of my good friends taught me, well, he didn't teach me, but he shared what meditation has done for him. And honestly, I've been praying and it works. I get things off my mind. I say everything that I'm going through. The meditation piece has really helped me get through like the days. Just being able to really just sit back and close my eyes and let everything go, and the peace that I've been finding within meditation, I think that's helped. So that's what I've been doing to prioritize my feelings and emotions, because what we've been learning is everything that we're going through is literally too much for us to carry. It's not meant for us to carry. When it's time to go to work, I have to show up for work. I can't wear my emotions on my sleeve. I can't wear it on my face. So that's when I have to. I want to get back into journaling. Journaling was very good for me, but meditation is like so quick.
Yeah.
Meditation is like one of the quick things. It's like
you can snap into it any moment.
Yeah, I could tap in and tap back. I'm like, ooh, okay, I got like 6.
renewed.
Yeah, I got 6 hours in me now.
Yeah.
I don't feel what I'm going through. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much how I prioritize community. Love audio books. I'm reading Balance right now by Pastor Youre. And yeah.
Good, baby. Well, I'm glad that you have those outlets, because if you didn't properly manage your emotions, then I don't know how you can show up for me and the baby.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty glass.
No, you can't.
And that's what one of my good friends was telling me, and from just talking about what I'm going through, and that's another thing. Yeah. Just being able to voice what I'm going through speak it out loud. It's very helpful, and then it's even better when you have some wise counsel to give you some insight back, and that's what I got back. You can't pour from an empty glass, so it's important to that's crazy, because Pastor Youre spoke about that in his book. So you have to take care of self first.
Absolutely.
Before you go and try to take care of someone else. Yeah,
and a lot of times we're told that we have to look after ourselves last. Like it's almost like do for everyone else, then give yourself the leftover, but that has to be restructured. Yeah. Like, of course I'm your wife and you love me and you care about me, but you can only be as effective as a husband as you are a man.
Exactly.
And if you are lacking in those areas as being a man, then how can you show up for me as a husband? How can you show up for your baby as a father? Yeah. So I want to applaud you for making sure that you do take that time for self.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and that's a great point. I want to share something from the book that I'm reading right now, regarding putting self first.
Yeah.
Pastor Youre spoke about. He gave the example of being on an airplane.
Oh yeah.
You remember that? And
Brandon can't do anything by himself. By the way, if he's reading a book, I'm like, what's that part say?
Can you turn it up? He said, when you're on a plane, you have to put on your oxygen mask first and put on your safety belt. Even if your child is sitting next to you, you have to take care of you first, and then cater to the person or whoever's in need. So that's what that's sort of those words, those nuggets of wisdom gives me peace with decision making. You know, when you're seeking wise counsel and hearing the right words, it's like, okay, I'm on the right track. So yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Go you for prioritizing you. Okay. But it's so crazy because like there has to be that balance of prioritizing you and, as we mentioned earlier, dying to self. But I think that you have to prioritize you in order to freely die from self and not do it grudgingly. Yeah.
I actually it's crazy because like 2 weeks before we found out you were pregnant, I went to LA Men's Group for the first time, and I was in this breakout group with this group of brothers, and they were awesome. You know, from different. Everyone was from all different walks of life, and I sat next to this one guy, and it's crazy because we sat next to each other in the whole meeting, but then in our breakout group, we ended up being in the same group, and I felt like we were supposed to be together. Yeah. And the way he shared was so cool because, again, I didn't know I was pregnant. You
didn't pee on the stick yet?
Yeah, I ain't pee on the stick yet. I didn't know we was pregnant yet. And he wasn't pregnant. His wife was. I'm all messed up, you know. We all in this together. But he explained that and it's cool. It's cool because he's married and he actually has 3 children. We the same. I think we were around the same age, but he had 3, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. You getting busy, and he said his I think it was his younger child, when he puts him in bed every night, and it's a certain time, and he needs to talk to him and read him a story, and this is what he needs. His son needs this time. And if it doesn't really work, if it doesn't happen, it's not all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
But
the kid's not happy.
Yeah, the kid's not happy.
Like, I feel abandoned.
Right. So this guy, he mentioned how he does his best to show up for his son, because it's just the same symbolism of how we go and cry, and we cry for Christ, and we calling on Christ constantly. And it's like, we may see our son or our daughter crying for us like it's not that serious. Hey, I'm busy. Right. But it's the same thing when it's a real need. Yeah. And it's just like what we do with Christ. We cry and we pray for him and we praise for him, and he never turns his back on us. Right. And that is owed back to our children, because that's we're their earthly parents. Yeah. Although Malik has a heavenly father, I'm his earthly father, and you're his earthly mother. So I have to do these things. I have to make it my priority to die to self, to take care of him like Jesus died to self, to answer us, to hear our prayers, to bless us. Yeah. Man, I think I might have cried when he said that, because it was so profound. I don't even have kids yet, but I felt it, because it's like, man, that's powerful how, you know, you have to give so much. And, you know, sometimes even I don't even have a baby. We don't even have a baby yet, but we're going through so much. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just go shoot to Miami for like a few days or a few hours, and just come right back. You know, just for a little outlet, and just to get away. It's really a lot, but
no, I feel you.
Yeah, and I'm sure you just want to, like, sometimes, like, man, I wish I could just go. Of course, you want to come back, and it's understandable, but we're going through so much, in such a little bit of time, where sometimes we just feel like we need to get away, and that's a part. I understand why we can't go away, because we would be robbing ourselves. We would be robbing our child of blessings. The blessing is us dying to self and showing up. So because there's so much that will come out of it. So running from these challenges is only going to delay the process of what God has in store for us.
That's so good.
So I'm always going to show up for you, babe.
I know.
Always going to show up for you, little man.
I think that's also why it's so important to make sure your cup is full. Because when you are required to show up for your kid at the end of the night and read to them, you don't want to do that from an empty cup. At least on that drive home, fuel yourself. So that when you do get home, you can be like, and now I'm a father. So I need to show up for my baby, and I need to read him this book and tuck him in, and then go do adult things with my wife.
Hey, make another one.
Make another one. But I love the example that your friend gave, because it's order. Once again, it's Jesus is showing an example through the way he loves his church. And you are, as a husband, supposed to be that example to your bride and your family. So I appreciate your friend for living through that and then for bringing it to you. So yay for community.
Gotta really live what you rap about.
My next question. Oh, you already answered this one. What resources do you tap into to stay encouraged? Yeah. But if you want to touch on some more.
Reading Balance right now, which is a great book. I listen to a bunch of sermons. Community. And also my partner. My partner's my resource. Yeah, baby. You are a resource for me. I need you as much as we're going through this. You're my fuel to keep going.
Baby.
So, yeah.
That's so sweet.
Thanks, babe.
You know I'm pregnant. Don't make me cry. I've been so emotional, y'all.
Little onesie.
I cried holding onesies, y'all. I just put them on my chest. Just cried. I was so happy. Okay, so my last question is, do you have any advice for husbands or partners going through a tough time of uncertainty? It can be uncertainty with pregnancy, with getting pregnant, with work, with anything. You can answer it however you feel God is leading you to.
Oh, but stay prayed up. Always talk to Christ. Always talk to the Lord, and get that direction. But also go to the people He's providing in your life, which is your community. I didn't realize how much I needed a community. I was always that type of person to be like, oh, I got this. I'll figure it out on my own. And I just ended up in circles and circles. Sometimes I figured it out. Sometimes I didn't. But community has been so vital in my life, just to talk things out when I'm questioning myself, things that were revealed to me, I shoot it to them, and I'm always getting some wonderful feedback to get me to the next step, unlocking things that I would not have naturally gotten to in such a quick time. So I would say community, and just finding something that you love to do in your own time. I think that's important. Just an important resource, a hobby that fuels you, so you can come home and be the person, like you said, be the man that you were designated to be. Yeah. So books, I love me a good podcast. I love real estate, so I listen to a bunch of podcasts. Just to...
Baby passed his real estate exam last week. Y'all.
Yeah, that's what I've been studying for. And your boy's about to be a California realtor out here.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So proud of you. You worked so hard for that, baby.
I did. So that was another thing. Just studying and catching COVID. I had to delay my exam twice.
Yeah.
And
you had to sit a lot out too to prioritize studying.
Yeah, missing trips.
But it's all worth it. Oh, speaking of trips, there's one thing. Wait, I have one more question for you. And I want to say something about trips. So in our last episode, we were talking about how we can't go to Jamaica anymore because of the cervix situation and how we just shouldn't travel. This week, we realized why God didn't want us in Jamaica. And if I had gone into the situation that we were in a few days ago there, we may have not been able to stop the labor. So it all just made such perfect sense, and I had so much more peace about it. Like if I was in another country going through what I thought was cramps, I wouldn't have stopped long enough to go to a hospital and realize what was actually happening, and we could have gone into labor. So that was just the blessing and God's provision once again, just keeping us away from somewhere else and having us at home allowed us to be with the medical team that stopped it, that stopped the labor, that stopped us from going into labor and having our baby. So I just wanted to circle back on that, because we did talk about in the last episode that we're waiting on like there has to be a reason. What is that reason? Yeah, and it's because that we would have been there. That actually was my last question written down, but as you were talking about community and all that stuff and how you should talk to people about things, why do you think that it's such a stigma for men, particularly black men, to keep things to themselves and they don't open up as much?
I just don't think it's not prioritized as a feeling for other people. It's okay, and...
Or do you feel like that's the case? Do you feel like no one cares and that you're in this alone and that you have to just be so strong?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it was a little bit of both. Just to answer the first part, when you think that no one really cares, it could be because you're around by the wrong people.
Wow,
back to community.
We said this was a common theme in our lives.
Yeah, so I had so much to talk about before, but I didn't because, I always joke about this back home. When you ask somebody, you walking past somebody, you hey, how you doing? They're gone. Hey, how you doing is just hi.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not here to hear about what you're going through.
That's
it's
sad.
I ain't ask you all of that.
Yeah.
Just I gotta go.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're around so many different people. I'm around the right people where I can actually talk about what I'm going through. People asking me how can they pray for me, and that broke my heart in a good way. It just showed me that people care, you know, and they're not looking for anything in return, you know. So I think you just have to be around the right people. And did I answer your question?
I think so. Basically,
I think I answered one part of it.
And you do think that it absolutely is important to talk about things, like, because there's, of course, praying is really important, and that should never be reduced or minimized. Like, that's a period after that. Praying is important. It's also really important that you talk to people who can challenge you, because sometimes they're just wrong, and you need someone to say, no, baby, let me help you rethink that. And sometimes you need different perspectives. Sometimes you need someone to say, that doesn't define you. Let's just restructure how you're seeing yourself.
So good.
And when we do open up and we talk and we encourage each other and we're encouraged, it almost like walks us out of like silent depression. Because sometimes we just end up depressed and have no idea why, but then we look back and we're like, I held that in. I never processed how that person hurt me. I never forgave that person. I never got closure on that. I never did this. And it's like, it's because you didn't talk to anyone about it.
And now you're just here.
And now you're heavy. You're weighed down. You're weighed down. So talk to people, y'all.
And that's another thing we had that conversation earlier today. Like, you're not defined by what you've done.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people, we're losing a lot of young people because we get caught up in decisions that we've made. And we have to realize that that's not who we are.
Yeah.
The things that we've done, what did the pastor say? The sin is what you've done, but your identity, you're still God's child. That's your identity.
Yeah.
So
that was Pastor Stephen Furtick. We love him too.
Yeah, I didn't say it as smooth as he did, but that was really good. Where we have to just know our identity, and everything else. Everything else is secondary.
Everything else is an action. Like, your identity is child of God, period. What you've done, it's still important, but it doesn't define you. And of course, you should absolutely be held accountable for the things that you've done and apologize if you wronged people. But you can't you can't label yourself to the point where you limit yourself. Ooh, that was good.
That was a bar. But long story short, we're here to spread love.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. Anybody watching, no matter what you've done, no matter what you're going through, our email is open. We're like, we could be friends. It doesn't matter. We could tap in. We're here, open ears and listening for whatever you're going through. We mean that from the bottom of our hearts. We're here for community. If you're yearning for a community, you found it.
Yeah. Also, you're still loved.
You're still loved.
Regardless, and that's one thing that is so specific to your relationship with your Heavenly Father, is that you can't do anything to have Him love you more, and you can't do anything to have Him love you less.
Girl.
And that's how the world should function, but we don't function like that. It should be like, oh, I still love you even though you committed this crime. It's like, oh my God, you deserve to die because you committed this crime. And I just want us to have more grace for people in general and understand that we are not sinless. None of us are. So to look at another person and to judge them by what they've done, it's only you being more of a sinner by convicting someone else and judging them, when that's not our calling. Our calling is to love regardless of what's going on. But when you do have that relationship with your Heavenly Father, it's easier to not allow those things to be who you become. It's easier to just say like, okay, yeah, I messed up, and let me repent. Let me understand what I've done is wrong. Let me not do it again, and let me rebalance in who I am called to be. And if anything that you do goes against that, then you're not operating in your purpose, and you just got to reset. You got to say, that's not who I am. Let me rethink that decision. I'm not a liar, let me stop telling lies. My identity is to be a warrior. My identity is to be a child of God and to be a lover. And I'm a miraculous creation. I'm God's favorite creation. And would God's favorite creation do something like this? And then you start to look at yourself through that lens of, am I best representing my Father? Are these decisions that I'm making representing who He called me to be? And then you want to do better. You just want to be a better person. And that is not closed off to anyone. Regardless of the bad that you've done, it's not too late. It's never too late. So I know we went on a tangent here, but I think it's on both of our hearts to let somebody out there know that you are not summarized by the mistakes that you've made. Your identity is child of God, period. Become that. And that's it. That's all.
Literally just redirect.
Yeah.
That's all.
You are wonderful.
So
you are loved.
You are loved. That was beautiful, babe. That was beautiful. So we got our Q&A is complete.
This is our first Q&A. Let us know how you felt about it, because we went on a bit of a tangent.
We did.
I just thought it was important to pick Brandon's brain a little bit and figure out how he was taking everything. And with him looking after me so often, I want to do a better job at looking after you and having these check-ins and making sure that you're okay too.
Thanks,
I'm glad we got to do this at home with you guys here watching. Thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to ask us your questions. Oh shoot, we actually forgot to look for questions.
Did we have a question?
I don't know. We've been in the hospital this week. It's been rough. I haven't caught up.
Well, we got some great emails though. Thank you for writing us. We
got such a sweet email.
We got a sweet email, and South Florida, right?
You're a girl.
We're gonna keep it coming. We have a lot more to share, and I think God is just using us. Honestly, He's showing us. We had a plan for this YouTube channel. We have episodes planned, but things just keep coming.
We're back at health.
So we're back at health.
Over health.
Cervix grew. Cool. Boom. We think that we about to celebrate. No, we're back praying. We're back. Asking for help. We're back sharing testimonies.
Back on our knees.
We're back on our knees. So we're in real time. I don't know when we're gonna get to what we have planned, but I'm sure He's gonna let us do it. But there's things that we have to share with y'all. So we hope that what we have to share blesses you the way it's been blessing us. And just keep us lifted. And thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your comments and your likes and your shares. We'll see you next Monday.
Week. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Peace.
We did it.
Mom, we're done.